talk about civil servants, actually, because working from home, this is the Office of National Statistics staff who have worked from home since the start of lockdown, but want to keep the option of doing so free time. They're being ordered. They now say they'll walk out. Walk out from where? Walk out to the gardens?
Walk out from their sitting room to the toilet.
Yes.
Walk out to the front door to pick up an Amazon parcel. Walk out the front door to walk their dog because they're not working from home.
Well, Marion County Down has been in touch and said it's an angry Tory myth that civil servants are slacking and unproductive if they work from home. There is no evidence of this. What do you make of that, Claire?
Well, I disagree completely, I'm sorry to say. And I'll tell you why. The Office of National Statistics have got a very, very important role in the country. They get statistics from companies, industrial companies, manufacturing companies, professional companies, and schools and births, marriages and deaths. It has been shown that the statistics that they had forecasted for immigrants coming into the country was under what it actually was. Now, we need to base a lot of our fiscal work on the Office
Government
of
decisions.
National
It's important they get it right.
Statistics, and the statistics that they proffer will really have to be really have to be scrutinised. And I'm afraid that it's not being done. And I'm sorry, you are only being asked to come into work. Is it what, 2 or 3 days a week?
2 days.
And it's been shown that it is so much better for you mentally, physically, fiscally as well for the independent shops surrounding these areas, because the Office of National Statistics have got quite a few offices around the country, and I don't understand why people just want to work from home. I know some people that work from home and they actually put something on their laptop that wiggles to show that they're working, and they're not.
There are people abusing the system, there's no doubt about that, but there are a lot of people who do work from home efficiently. Unsurprisingly, Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg was Minister for Government Efficiency. He wandered empty offices, he left notes on civil servants' desks and so on. He says they need to go back to work because we need to have proper statistics so that the government can make informed decisions. Lots of ONS stats have been woefully inadequate, according to Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg, including their estimates of GDP and the number of EU nationals entitled to settled status, which was almost 2 million higher than their forecast, which I think is what you were perhaps referring to there, Claire. Richard, what do you make of this?
So my instinct has always been very kind of uncertain about working from home, because I don't know about you guys, but I learned how to do every job I've ever done from like sitting there next to somebody who's really experienced and watching them do it, right? And I kind of don't know how else you learn how to do a job. But I do think in this particular circumstance, like, the managers said to the staff, we're not going to change it back. You're going to be able to work from home forever. That's the new system. So obviously loads of staff are going to have moved house. They're going to have moved really far away from their offices. They'll come in
somewhere that's cheaper, perhaps out of expensive areas of the country,
where they can have some more
expensive
space for their kids.
Well, if they can come up with a statistic to show that, I'd be interested in seeing it.
Well, I mean, like, generally we know that that's true across the workforce, and you know, their kids will be going to new schools and stuff like that.
I mean, if they were told previously by a manager, well, actually,
were.
You're never going to need to come back, and this is not just ONS, but the Office of National Statistics, which actually provides a great service, and journalistically, I deal with a lot of their statistics a lot of the time, and they're very, very helpful people. I suppose the point is, I mean, have we made work from home kind of one of those issues where actually we need to be a little bit more open to it, perhaps? I mean, another texter says...
I think, sorry, Peter, I think the issue will be with the Generation Zs, because I think they are really, they'll now vote with their feet in terms of recruitment for, especially, I know for a fact that the Big Four are now looking at that as being a prized part of their recruitment.
And actually, because of a lot of the power that is with the employee rather than the employer, a lot of people are saying, actually, I'm not going to go for this job unless I can work from home a certain number of days a week. I spoke to chief executive of a medium-sized business, actually, who mentioned that to me recently. There was one person who she really wanted to recruit, but he wouldn't do the job unless he could work from home 3 days a week. Another texter says, this is 2024, not 1974. We have the technology, we no longer need to spend hours commuting, clogging up roads, adding to emissions, to sit in an office tapping away on a keyboard all day, having almost no family time. People generally work very efficiently at home. Bosses can easily see if work has been completed on time, accurately or not.
I do also think it's important to recognise that the ONS bosses, until this moment, were saying to their staff, we think that your productivity hasn't gone down because of working from home. We think some of you actually really improved because of it. The bosses of the ONS are not going to say that unless they think it's true, because they depend upon their staff doing good work. So do you think
if people are saying they'll strike, if they're going to strike about this issue, do you think that's reasonable, Richard?
I mean, workers have got the right to do that. What I think...
But do you think it's reasonable?
Do I think it's reasonable? Yes, I think it's reasonable when you've got loads of staff who will have moved from home and will basically have to say, well, either I've got to move house again and my kids have got to move school again, or I've got to lose my job. I think that is a reasonable...
I don't think that's
Claire?
a reality. I think there's a very much a minority of that. You don't move everything. Where these ONS
Loads of
offices
people have done that.
Not from the ONS, because if you look at where their offices actually are around the country, you will find that there's not been a lot of movement. I wouldn't have thought for 1 minute that would have been the case for the staff at the ONS. And I think I'm quite apoplectic with rage, actually, to think that these workers will strike. They should be glad they've got a job. They should be back in the office, and they should be, learning from each other. They should be giving back to the economy in terms of the infrastructure that they use. You can't. You're stuck in roadblocks anyway with the LTNs that were delivered through stealth at the time of COVID. So, really, it's just...
I know you guys do a number of different things. You're freelance broadcasters and you do other things as well. How much time do you actually spend in an office yourselves within your working life, Richard?
At the moment, not very much. I go to other places to work because I'm pretty flexible, but previous jobs I've done have been in the office 5-6 days a week. And I quite liked that, but I was in the very lucky position of not living too far from my offices that I worked in, and I could afford to do that. The one job I've ever done where I had a long commute, an hour on the tube every day, it was horrible. It was really horrible. But it was a job where I had to go into the office because we were filming and stuff like that.
Claire, final word on this?
Well, I work in an office as well, Monday to Friday, after I do and I fit everything else in, because that's just what you have to do. You have to work to make ends meet. And
do what your employer tells you to do as well,
yes,
which these
absolutely.
people are thinking of not doing it.
Yeah, you've got to work.